The last game of the NBA's Christmas Day slate of gifts to fans all over the world featured Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, and was supposed to feature Devin Booker and the Suns. More on that in a second. First off, Nikola Jokic doing Joker-like things. But speaking of Booker, you check out the play. He's going to come up lame 4 minutes into this basketball game. Apparently, it is a groin injury. And for all my parlay people out there, Booker left that game and did not return 4 minutes in. Good thing, though, Landry Shamet had Booker's back. He had a career night. That three-pointer puts the Suns up by 4. Third quarter, Jokic had one of them quarters where it's just him versus whoever you want to put in front of him. 16, 5, and 5 for the Joker in the third. Aaron Gordon going up top and throwing down one of his two monsterful jams in this one. Jamal Murray knocking down a big-time three-pointer. He had 26. Denver's down 2 with 3 minutes to go. No, they're not. Murray, another 3. We're tied at 109. 2 and some change. It's Shamet. 3 of his career-high time, 31 points campaign. And Devin Booker not playing, but trying to give that Suns team all the energy. Murray starting to look like his old self. That throwdown ties this game up at 113. We go to overtime in the extra period. Joker's like, Chris Paul, I know you a legend, dog, but I'm just too good right now. CP3 inside to Aiden. Suns are down a point with 62 seconds to go. Aaron Gordon with the play of the game. He just throws it down over Shamet. Originally called a charge, reviewed, and changed to a block. I'm happy about that, by the way. Shamet's great night is going to get ruined by the Grinch named Gordon. Landry's going to miss a late 3 that would have tied this game up. The Nuggets win on Christmas Day. They improved to 21-11 on the season after the Grizzlies lost. That's tops out west. 128-125 is your final in OT. By the way, I didn't mention the Joker stat line, but you'll see it thanks to these great Who's FERRO graphics. 41, 15, and 15. Talk about the greatness that is Nikola Jokic any other night, right? He's great pretty much every night of the season. We got a lot of nights to talk about the greatness that is Nikola Jokic. I wanted to focus this video, though, on what was on my mind as I watched every second of that Suns and Nuggets game. And it wasn't Devin Booker, who left the game again 4 minutes in due to that groin injury. What was on my mind, though, was the other star in that backcourt in Phoenix who just got $40 million over a year ago to be the point guard. That's Chris Paul. Yo, no one in the league's talking about Chris Paul not being the player that he was last year. Nobody's talking about it. I don't know if it's because Chris Paul is great in NBA spaces, because the Phoenix Suns are not one of the 5 most popular teams in the league, because they're not as great as they were last year. I don't know what it is. Chris Paul, though, is not only becoming a liability on offense. I'm looking at Chris Paul's production at $40 million a clip versus what Cam Payne is giving you, significantly less. He's making a lot less money than Chris Paul is. And I'm thinking to myself, for the next 4 years, who would I rather have? Chris Paul at $40 million or Cam Payne at the few million that he's making a year? I don't know. Every day that question is becoming more and more difficult. Do I believe Chris Paul is a big piece to what Monty Williams is trying to do? Yes. Do I believe Chris Paul knows that Phoenix Suns offense from forward and back? Yes, he does, right? But I'm looking at this team. I don't know if DeAndre Ayton's going to be around much longer. I don't know. Chris Paul is the best at getting DeAndre Ayton to rock. Like, nobody can get the ball to Ayton the way Chris Paul can. But is that enough, though? No longer can we count on 20 points from Chris Paul, 18 points from Chris Paul. Man, there are a lot of nights when you can't count on more than 11 points from CP3. And I'm sorry, at $40 million for a guy that can't play defense because of his age and size, that ain't enough for me. He's no longer the guy that he was on defense from the steals perspective. He was never a good defender, but he used to make a lot of plays on the ball back in his heyday. He hadn't been a good defender in a long time. Let me say that, because he really was a good defender at the beginning of his career at the point guard position, but he was undersized. I want to say that before I get disrespectful to CP3, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. He ain't been a good defender in a long time. He's in the back end of his career. I love Chris Paul. But I'm just looking around, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it feels like CP3 ain't 100% locked in on this year's version of the Suns outside looking in. I'm not in that Phoenix organization. I'm just telling y'all I watch the basketball games. That's all I'm saying. And when I'm watching Phoenix, Devin Booker, when he's been out there, he's been great. You know, you get 30 points from Landry Shamet. You know, you get everybody steps up and Devin Booker going down. And to me, what I think Phoenix needed the most to help out these young Bulls like Mikal Bridges and company, they needed a really great performance from CP3, one of those takeover performances that we just saw against the Pelicans in the first round of the playoffs last year. And Chris ain't have it in the tank. And he ain't had it in the tank many nights. It's like we're starting to see the downfall of Chris Paul, and I hate it. I really do hate it. It's like Luka Doncic took his soul a few months. This Phoenix Suns team is currently constructed, and they got to get Cam Johnson back, to be fair. And the Jay Crowder situation seemingly is not going to work itself out anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if this team loses in the first round of the playoffs again. I just don't see them for sure not making the conference finals. But I don't know how they make it to the second round of the playoffs right now. There is a good chance Phoenix would face either the Mavs, the Nuggets, the Clippers, you know, the Grizzlies. Like one of these teams, you got to play somebody in the first round. Only 8 spots in the playoffs. I don't see Phoenix right now beating any of those teams in the first round. I don't. I don't.